So yesterday we talked about long division and you use the box to do that. Well, today we're going to talk about synthetic division. Now, synthetic division is really cool and it's fast. However, I'm not even going to explain why it works. But you can only use it if you're dividing by x minus a or x plus a. You can't have an exponent here. You can't have that. And you can't have a number in front of it. It has to be just x plus a number or x minus a number for it to work. So here's what you do. The basic setup, this is going to seem really weird at first. You just have to follow along and you'll pick up on it pretty quickly here. So let's take x cubed and all that stuff divided by x minus 2. Let's do that. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to set up, we're going to make a little box right here. And we're going to put a number in there in a little bit. But after it, I'm going to put all the coefficients down for the polynomial. So I start with x cubed as a 1. The 2x squared, so that'll be a 2, negative 6, and then negative 9. So I put my coefficients there. Now, in this little rectangular box here that I have, I'm going to take this number and put it there, but I'm always going to put the opposite of it. So it says x minus 2, so I'm going to put a positive 2 here. All right. Now, I will leave a space underneath, a line underneath, and I'll draw a line. All right, so here's what happens. You're going to take your first number and you're going to drop it straight down to underneath. So that'll be a 1 right there. And then you're going to take your number in here and multiply it times the number there. So 2 times 1 is 2. And I'm going to put that right there. Now I'm going to add these numbers together. So 2 plus 2 is 4. Then I'm going to take 2 times 4. That's 8. And I'm going to put it right there. I'm going to add these numbers together. I get 2. 2 times 2 is 4. I'm going to put it right there. And negative 9 plus 4 is negative 5. All right. Now, what does that mean? Let's just quickly do this using the box. So if I use the box like what we did yesterday, so we have x minus 2 here. I'm going to fill in x cubed. To get x cubed, I need x squared. X squared times negative 2 is negative 2x squared. Okay. Then I need positive 2x squared, so I'm going to need this to be a 4x squared to get that. And let's see, that'll be a 4x on top. 4x times negative 2 is negative 8x. And then I want to get a positive, or a negative 6x, so I'm going to need a positive 2x here. That means on top I'll need to have a 2. And let's see, that makes this a negative 4. And I want to get a negative 9. So to get a negative 9, I need 5 more negatives. That's my remainder. So look at how this coincides. No, I'll pick a different color here. Let's see, x squared, 4x, 2, and my remainder of negative 5. So here's what's happening when you do synthetic division. The last number is always your remainder. Then we have our constant, then we have our x, and then we have our x squared. So if I was taking this polynomial and dividing by x minus 2, I would say that equals x squared plus 4x plus 2 plus my remainder of negative 5 over x minus 2. All right, let's try this thing again, only this time I'm going to divide by x plus 3. So I'm going to try the x plus 3. So I still have a 1, a 2, a negative 6, a negative 9. But in the box I'm going to put a negative 3. So let's try that. All right, so again I draw a line. I drop that 1 straight down. I take my negative 3 times 1 and I put it there. So that gives me negative 3. I'm going to add these two together. That'll give me a negative 1. Negative 3 times negative 1 is a positive 3. Negative 6 plus 3 is negative 3. Negative 3 times negative 3 is a positive 9. And negative 9 plus 9 is 0. So remember what I said. It's our remainder, our constant, our x squared. So my answer then is going to be equals 1x squared minus 1x minus 3 plus my remainder is 0. So do you know what happened? It divided in evenly. Okay, so x plus 3 is actually a factor. It can divide in evenly. All right, so this one we're going to try two different ones. We'll start with x minus 1. So in the box, I'm going to put a positive 1. Remember, it's always the opposite. And then I draw my coefficients in here. So I got all the numbers in front, and I put them in there. Okay, take that first one, drop it down. 1 times 1 is 1. Add those together, I get 0. Then I have 1 times 0 is 0. Add those together, I get negative 2. 1 times negative 2 would be negative 2. Add those together, I get 6. So my answer is x squared plus 0x minus 2 plus my remainder of 6 over x minus 1. All right, let's try now and divide by x plus 2. So if I'm going to do that, I'm going to put a negative 2 in the box, and then I still have my coefficients. Drop the 1. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Negative 1 minus 2 is negative 3. Negative 2 times negative 3 is a positive 6. Negative 2 plus 6 is 4. Negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. 8 minus 8 is 0. So we get x squared minus 3x plus 4. There is no remainder, so our answer is this nice polynomial with no remainder. Okay, so now we just keep on trying. So we have in the box negative 6, and then our coefficients are 2, 13, and negative 7. So we drop down the 2. Negative 6 times 2 is negative 12. 13 minus 12 is 1. Negative 6 times 1 is negative 6, and we get negative 13 for a remainder. Okay, so working backwards, I've got my remainder, my constant, my x. So my answer is going to be 2x plus 1 minus 13 over x plus 6. Okay, it looks like my last problem is just keep on practicing this. So I also want to point out, let's just say that that wasn't there and there was no x squared. Then I would have to make sure that when I put in my coefficients that I would actually put a 0 here. You don't want to miss any terms. So if there is something missing, put a 0 in its place. But there is nothing missing here. So we've got 1, negative 3, negative 7, and 6 in the box. Let's do this one first. I'll put a negative 2. Drop the 1. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Add those together, I get negative 5. Negative 2 times negative 5 is positive 10. Add those together, I get 3. Negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. Add those together, I get 0. So my answer is x squared minus 5x plus 3. All right, go on to the next one. I'm going to do the x minus 4 one, so it's a positive 4 in the box. I get my 1, negative 3, negative 7, and 6. Drop the 1. 4 times 1 is 4. Add those together, we get 1. 4 times 1 is 4. Add those together, I get negative 3. 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. Add those together, I get negative 6. So we have x squared plus x minus 3 plus negative 6 over x minus 4. That'd be my answer for that one.